Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Blame It on Marketing with Emma and Ruta. It's our second anniversary. I can't quite believe that Ruta and I are 2 years old. I mean, we certainly act like 2-year-olds.
Thanks, babe.
At times. And what we thought we would do to celebrate our anniversary is to talk about our highlights over the last year or the last 2 years and our favourite episodes and some of the things that we've learned. And then maybe we'll do a little marketing gossip at the end. I don't know what you think. You just certainly, before this episode started, you had some good goss. So
okay,
let's do it. Okay, Roots, go on then. Hit us with your first one. Yes.
So I looked at the episodes this year because I got a bit overwhelmed when I looked at all the episodes. We're recording episode 72 right now. So as you can imagine, there was half of that last year. So I picked out 4 episodes. When I scrolled past them, basically that was like, oh yeah. And I remembered something very specific from them, like a quote that obviously still lives in my head. So I'm going to start with buying experiences. So this is episode 46. It was an episode of me and Emma. And the reason why I picked it up is because I still think that companies are not working on buying experience. And when I say buying experience, by the way, I mean from finding out about who you are to closing the deal, and then a little bit even after that. B2B SaaS companies especially, and B2B companies, are really not optimizing for the buyer. They're optimizing for themselves. The reason why it kind of really caught my eye, because we actually did this episode at the beginning of this year, but we just wrote an article about it with the Digital Beat Brief, and not much has changed, Ems. I don't know if you feel that way, but I'm not seeing this huge push towards good buying experiences.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see it. I think that we all know kind of the shit show that this year has felt like for marketers. And I think getting to caring about things like buying experience is just so far removed, because we've all been pulled onto the kind of panic wagon, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just because things haven't necessarily been as good. So it's such a shame, because it is a huge opportunity. And if you could do stuff with that, I think you would start to see, I think you would probably start to
it also
more.
Feels like it could almost be like a niche discipline that maybe will become a job going forward, because there are in non-B2B, there are kind of buying experience close jobs, but yeah, it doesn't feel like we're kind of quite there. So I guess we'll just keep harping on about it for the next year.
Maybe you and I can hold the torch by writing it into all of our marketing strategies for our clients.
Excellent. What about you?
So my first one, I actually went back through all the episodes, and part of the reason I did that is because I was writing these epic social media posts tagging everyone that's ever been on our podcast in. So I went through everybody. So my first one, and this is like season 1, episode 2, with the lovely Megan Worsley. We're talking about marketing managers for 35k. And what's scary to me is that was 2 years ago, and I'm still seeing marketing manager positions with that level of salary. And yet we have, inflation has risen, the cost of living crisis has happened, and yet we are still kind of expecting marketers to work in that crappy situation.
I'm not surprised it's one of the most watched episodes till this day. People are still going back to it. So, it's kind of almost an indication that it's still a thing and happening, right? Which is and sad.
I wanted to do a public shaming moment, because someone that I did a bit of work for once before, a while ago, they were hiring for a marketing manager and they didn't put the salary on the job spec. I wrote to them and I said, you haven't even put the salary on it. And I was really oh, I like you guys. I'd promote the job. And they never got back to me. And I just thought, is that because you just thought, oh, shut up, or whatever?
Yeah.
Or
is
it because someone not publicly, but someone shamed you? I don't know. But they still didn't put the salary on the job spec. So I was like,
dude. Just today, I actually commented on somebody's LinkedIn post, and the LinkedIn post was somewhere in the lines of if you raise somebody's salary, they're going to be happy once per year, whilst if you fix the culture, they're going to be happy all year. And I literally commented, I was like, culture's a bonus once the salary is satisfied. Culture's great. I love culture. I love working for great places, but I'm not working for you if I can't afford to live.
Culture's not going to pay my bills, is it?
This isn't 2014, guys. Let's move on.
Yeah.
No good.
What's next for you?
Next one. So I actually ended up doing episode 46, 47, and 48, and then another one. So apparently I really enjoyed that season. The next one has to be Timmy. What should a CRO be?
Yeah.
Of course. Have you got that on your list as well?
Yes.
Good. Yay. You can't not love a bit, Timmy.
Yeah.
So the thing, he said a lot of course, he said a lot of great stuff in that episode, and there's lots of very clippable material. But the one thing that's really stuck with me when I kind of looked at that title again is when he spoke about when you become a CRO, it's a transformative experience for you. It's not that you're just a CMO or a CSO and you're becoming a little bit more senior. It's actually like a transformation in how you think about stuff, the teams you work with, the skill set you have. And that's what really is going to be setting you apart, instead of just as a CRO being a more senior salesperson or being a more senior marketing person. And that's really stuck with me. So now I obviously hold CROs to the standard of the Timmy, which is not reasonable for anybody, but it's something that has stayed with me. What did you pick from that episode?
So that episode, if anyone wants to catch it, it's episode 47, it's season 6. I put down, Timmy said this great thing, which was, revenue is a proxy for value. And, that is, to me, that is the marker of a great CRO. In fact, actually, probably a great CEO. I feel like Timmy's got that coming, because I feel like that to me epitomizes what you're trying to do with a company. Like, I get it. Some people are in it just to make the money. But like, surely part of the reason that you found a company in the first place is that you feel like there is a problem that needs to be solved, and your thing solves the problem. And then, like we say, you make some money off the back of it and everybody goes home rich and everyone's happy. So yeah, I think that for me has stood out. And it kind of just, hearing Timmy say that, I never had the words to articulate that before that episode with Timmy, but I now feel like I do, because of what he said. So that episode really did, it's had kind of like it's not to sound too cringe, like a profound impact on the way that I articulate those things to my clients in particular. So yeah, thanks, Timmy.
Oh, Timmy, just nailing it. I feel like number one. We have certain episodes where we like leave the episode recording and we're like, woof, okay, like this has changed the way we think about something, or this has really like lit a fire to do something. And for me, that was certainly like one of those episodes.
100%, definitely. Should I do my next one? Well, it's
you do the next one, since I half stole your one.
Do you know what? I'm not surprised that we both picked Timmy, like, to be honest. Yeah. So I am now going back to season 3, episode 17, and it was with my lovely ex-colleague Lucy Ilbury, who is an occupational psychologist and just the best person ever to have a chat with about kind of like workplace psychology. And the episode was all to do with why marketing get blamed, and maybe like thinking about the structure of how your marketing team are rewarded and how you allow them to work and all those sorts of things. And it was a really good episode. It was kind of like our meta episode. And, Lucy kind of at the end of it was sort of talking about how, no job is really worth your mental health or your well-being. And so I've always felt like this, but it's so nice to hear it from somebody in her profession. That like, if your job is bad and it is really impacting you, you don't have to actually stick it out. We don't live in boomerland where you do a job till you die. So yeah, if you're not enjoying your job, you don't have to stay there forever. Obviously in an ideal situation, Ruta and I would not condone you just quitting your job and going off and not having something else to go to.
Have a plan.
But maybe now is the time, if you're not happy and you listen to this episode, to write your exit plan. Do it now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That was a great episode, actually. It also still gets a lot of love, by the way, when I look at the statistics, because I'm that kind of person. We should have Lucy back, I think. I think it's time.
All-Star season.
2025. 2025. I love that. My next one was episode 48. So I've done 46, 47, and 48 now. And then the last one's going to be not in row. But it was the episode about instant brands using B2B influencers with Will Aitken and Tyler Lessard. And the one thing that stood out for me from that is we had a really good conversation about, companies like Lavender just employing a whole bunch of influencers and kind of having that market reach off the bat. But the one thing that stuck with me is I always ask people this when we talk about social, and I asked Tyler, should we be expecting basically our salespeople to turn into these social media stars? I say that, in a dramatic way, but like, should we be expecting them to post and to do that and to spend a good amount of time doing this stuff? And Tyler was like, no, like if it's not their job and it's not in their job description and they're not being remunerated, trained, encouraged, given all of the resources they need, you absolutely shouldn't be holding them to that standard. To which I completely agree. Like, putting your face out there on content creation isn't for everyone. Like, I take it for granted that I find it quite easy and I'm more than happy to like jump on camera and do stuff. But like, I've literally been doing this since I was 14. So like, if you've never made a video before in your life, not only do you not know how to make a video, you don't know how to edit, you don't know, like, and I'm not saying you can't learn any of these things, but just to expect people to do that because it looks like everyone is doing that is not right.
We see a lot on LinkedIn, they're like, just get your employees to post more. I mean, most of us can barely, keep up with our day jobs, let alone spend time creating content to support our day jobs. And, some might argue that as a salesperson in 2020, nearly 2025, like you should expect that to be part of it. But you're absolutely right. If there's no resource and you're not being remunerated, I can never say that word properly. If you're not being paid to do it,
Okay.
if you're not being paid to do it, not only why should you, but you can't expect everybody to be a content creator.
You can if you want to out of your own volition. But like, if your company's expecting you to like put out all of this content and videos, it's like, whoa, like, unless you hired me to do that, maybe you hired me as a salesperson, but a big chunk of my job spec is aimed towards that. I get it. But like, if that wasn't the deal, you can't just tell people to make videos, like, that's not even videos, even like post content, like just written content, like that's not reasonable.
My final episode highlight is from season 9, episode 70 with Cohen. And that sort of leads into, kind of what Will and Tyler were talking about, which is the reality of being a salesperson. Like, I know that it's us as marketing that feel like a lot of the time we're the ones kind of getting the blame, shouldering a lot of the blame. And like when sales do badly, it's us that get fired, to start with. But actually, when you hear about the realities of the way that salespeople work, I think if we all had a little bit more compassion, peace and love for each other, we might actually find that alignment that people are talking about and are forever reaching for. Like, it's like actually if you just have a bit more compassion for each other and the difficulties within our jobs, that would be a very good start.
Yeah, there's like in the second half of that episode, Cohen just starts telling us stuff and we're just like, what? Like, what do you mean people don't just get paid their commission, or like they go on maternity leave and they've been working on a deal for 3 years and now they're on maternity leave, it doesn't count anymore. We were just like, what the fuck? Like that is not on. So yeah, I totally agree. And it's definitely helped us be like more compassionate and kind of aware of the stuff that does happen. And my last episode of note is we finally understand product marketing with Talia. It was episode 67, and I'm just excited after, I don't know, how long has my marketing career been, like 6, 7, 8 years, that I finally understand what product marketing is.
Someone finally told her.
Someone finally fucking cleared it up for me, and I get it now, and it makes sense, and I'm following all of Talia's content so I can stay in tune with what's happening in the product marketing world. I don't have like a specific quote from her, but I think the one thing I learned was that it's really important for product marketing and customer marketing to be super tight, which totally makes sense. Just never thought about it. So yeah, Talia, thank you very much for clearing that mystery up for me after this many years.
I think what we should do is talk about our just like personal blame it on marketing highlight of the 2 years. There's something that's happened in our journey that has been like a woo for you. Mine is obviously our bad marketing campaign that we ran during the summer. So we were talking about it for ages, like what we should, we got some lovely sponsorship from Dealfront, and that was covering our tech costs. And we were like, okay, so if we're not spending the money on the tech, what can we spend some money on? And Ruta and I set each other a challenge, which was to spend 500 quid each on bad marketing. And it was so much fun, just like living out the bad marketing that we've actually seen in real life people do. And then, bringing everyone along in for the joke. I mean, I apologize. I'm not sorry if you did this stuff. You're looking at it going, hang on, wasn't that us? I'm not sorry. It was bad. But I love it because, it ended in you and I with our glorious tattoos that people are still shocked that we have.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had that any other way. I loved it.
Very true. I am very happy with our tattoo choices. Oh man, that's a really good one. I don't know. Can I do a general thing rather than like like a one moment, if that makes sense? So the thing that I've got from Blame Out Marketing over the last 2 years that I really, really appreciate is actually meeting a bunch of marketers and a bunch of people that are on the same wavelength as us, and that we've genuinely like become internet friends and seen each other and had really great conversations and really found like, you know, your flock, because both Emma and I are consultants, right? So we don't work in an office anymore. We don't get to see people all the time. So it's been like an incredible experience in that way, and I would have never done anything like this, and I would have still been a consultant and, you know, like working alone and all of those things. So just, yeah, having that interaction with people and finding people that agree and feel the same way as you is really, really lovely and really validating. And yeah, it wouldn't have happened otherwise.
It's been lovely. And finally, it would not be a Blame It on Marketing episode if we didn't finish it up with some marketing gossip. I think you've got a good one.
I do. So I was just talking to Emma about a video I was editing right before filming this, and I made a video about how my LinkedIn comments are kind of a bit delulu. I treat LinkedIn as any other basically social media, and I comment the way I comment. You know, like I'll scream things, I'll say drag references, I'll whatever it is. You can go watch the video if you want to see examples. But I think that's going to be the real kind of set apart / currency of LinkedIn, actual like human voice and interaction, because we all know that AI comments have just absolutely murdered the LinkedIn feed and the algorithm. So it feels like actual real like conversation and real comments is going to be what's going to drive the engagement on LinkedIn, and it's probably going to drive the algorithm at some point. They're not quite there, but I think they're going to suss out the AI comments. And even if you train your AI to respond like a real human, you probably, if you're automating AI comments, you don't have the balls to actually make that go live. So just you know, try a few very human comments, see what happens.
I like it. I think, yeah, you and I have always, I think, commented as ourselves how we would do, you know, normally in real life if you were having that conversation face to face. So yeah, it'd be nice to like see a bit more of that. There's a couple of people that always comment on like my LinkedIn posts, and I'm like, this is not, you're not real. This is not real.
Yeah. And you just know,
you don't
like,
need to regurgitate back what I've said in my post.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like auto summarize what Emma said. No, just
Thank you.
Say something. Yeah.
Just say something.
I wrote the post, like I know what I said.
I know what I said. I like your hair. That will do. I take it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I had this like weird thought this morning about LinkedIn, because I was thinking in my head, you know, LinkedIn, so it's not gossip, it's just a fantasy that I would like to see come to reality. If LinkedIn are gonna play the like, we don't want you to leave LinkedIn game, then I feel like LinkedIn have kind of, I know obviously they've started the video stuff, but I do genuinely feel like LinkedIn are going to have to come up with a way for people like us to like have our, you know, have an RSS feed so that our podcast can live on LinkedIn and people can listen to it in LinkedIn. Otherwise, people like us eventually, or you know, other people, influencers, will turn away from LinkedIn, because if you have to constantly click off, like, and you don't want us to do that, and you punish us, the algorithm punishes us for trying to do that. Maybe that's in the LinkedIn roadmap. I don't know, but I'd like it.
They're definitely focusing on the paid features, aren't they? Like we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. So it's interesting to see where they'll go. Because yeah, posting different kinds of content is becoming, you know, broader and broader on LinkedIn. Well, amazing. Thank you for joining, Emma. Thank you. And thank you for listening, everyone. No, genuinely, thank you for listening. It's been a awesome experience creating this podcast, and we're really excited for 25. As Emma alluded, there might be an all-stars season. If you know, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we're really excited to speak to you again in the new year.